Yo people, this is my last and final vlog of this project. And since this is the last video together, let's cherish this moment. And I'll surprise you guys by letting you guys see my 15 steps Rube Goldberg machine. How does that sound, huh? Okay, so with all that taken care of, let's hop into the machine. I'm going to briefly introduce my machine. So the first step, y'all know that it starts with a phone here. So I'm going to use another phone to call this one. And after it receives the call, it is going to vibrate and thus sliding down the incline plane. As it slides down toward the end, there's the first domino. And after this phone topples this domino, it's going to start the machine until it reaches the edge of this table. As the last domino is going to push this a third filled with water of a bottle down the edge. And as you can see, I tied a ring onto the water bottle and taped it to the wall, so this way this bottle will swing after it falls. And as it swings down, it is going to hit this large book as it hits a smaller and smaller and smaller ones. At last, this book is going to knock into the string that is tied from this anchor to this domino here. So after it knocks this string this way, the domino is going to fall toward us and falling off the table. So letting this roll of tape to knock into this paper cups. And this paper cup is going to roll kind of like a semicircle to hit this golf ball. And this golf ball is going to roll in this track and fall into that paper cup taped to a lever. And this lever down here, it is supposed to be, trigger the start of this another domino. And after that part has the golf ball in it, this part is going to go down as this part goes up. And after this part goes up, this domino is going to fall forwards as it knocks into the others. And all the way till here, where it separates into two paths. The first path is going to allow a basketball to pull the handle. So I arranged this as from dominoes to a larger textbook. And this textbook is going to knock into this Pringles tower, which on the top sits the basketball. And after this Pringles tower collapse, this basketball tied to the handle is going to drop. As it drops, this basketball is going to pull down the handle as well. The second path is going to pull the door backwards. So I arrange the dominoes like this with a kind of like a jar here. So after these dominoes push this jar off its platform, it's going to roll and knock into this textbook. This textbook is going to knock into this dictionary. And this dictionary is going to knock this book flat on its side. So once it's flat on its side, this box standing on its edge is going to fall sideways as well. And because there's a string tied to this box and the other end tied to the doorknob, this way the box is going to pull the door backwards as it falls onto its side. So let's watch this machine in action. The phone slides down the ramp as GPE decreases. As it makes contact with the first domino, kinetic energy occurs. As all the dominoes colliding with each other, kinetic energy goes up and down like little spikes. And this water bottle falls, GPE goes down a lot, and it hits the book, and the book hits other books. So kinetic energy is generated. Now, the GPE goes up again since it's on the table now. And each collision costs, it will generate a certain amount of kinetic energy. Now the cup is in contact of the ball. So there is a kinetic energy generated. Now the ball falls off the table. GPE goes down as the ball goes from a high place to a lower place. Now, the lever is affecting the dominoes on the other side. So, each domino has a certain height. So, the GPE also changes as very little bit, like little spikes, and as well as kinetic energy. Since each collision has their height and the amount of energy. The small dominoes bump into the larger book dominoes, so the spikes become bigger. Now, it hits the Pringles Tower and kinetic energy goes up, as gravitational potential energy also goes up, and the ball falls down as GPE decrease. There are spikes in the graph because there are dominoes toppling before the jar. There are sudden increases in kinetic energy as well as gravitational potential energy. Now, the double dominoes hit the jar. The jar contacts the textbook and the ground. So there is a bigger spike where the jar had contacted the textbook. And there is another spike where the jar touches the ground. So there are actually two different in energy during this occasion. Sorry about the long pause. Well, what you will see is that the textbook is going to contact the dictionary. So there is another spike in gravitational energy as well as kinetic energy. Then the dictionary will hit the language arts textbook, allowing the big box to fall. The box is heavy, so the kinetic energy generated is a lot, as well as thermal energy. So there is also a sudden increase in it. The answer to the force is 27.44. I measured the basketball's weight, which is 7 newtons, and the time that it took from the place to the ground is 0.4 seconds. I timed it by 9.8, which is the acceleration of the Earth's gravity. And I got the answer 27.44. As for the pressure, I got the force of the basketball, which is again 27.44. And the surface area is 4. So divide 27.44 by 4. You will get 6.68 pascals, which is the answer to the pressure. the work done. I have measured the dominoes. Each dominoes are 4 cm apart, and each weigh 14 grams, which is 0.14 newtons. So I time them together, I get the answer 0.0544. 0.544 times 4 equals 0.2176 joules. So the answer for the work done is 0.2176 joules. As for the friction, I know I can increase the friction by putting a sandpaper in between and decrease it by putting some liquid. I could decrease and increase the air resistance by adding more surface area. I could increase the air resistance by adding surface area to the object, so it would trap more air. And I could make the object more aerodynamic to decrease air resistance.